Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Kansas City.
Wasn't a great trip for us in terms of winning baseball games.
But back in May, the Royals had a very good trip to New York, which included taking 2 out of 3 from the Yankees. And the Yankees have never faced Felipe Paulino, which looks like bad news for New York. Royals baseball is next on Fox Sports Kansas City. Derek Jeter and the Yankees have already celebrated their captain's 3,000th hit. And now they have their sights set on first place in the American League East as they come to Kauffman Stadium for a 3-game series with the Royals. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Kauffman Stadium. I'm Ryan Lefevre with Royals Hall of Famer Frank White, and it's good to be back to Kauffman Stadium after a difficult road trip through Tampa Bay and Chicago. And Frank, the schedule is just relentless. You come home, and now here you've got the 2 best teams in the league waiting for you.
And the good teams usually play well this time of year. They say these are the dog days, and the teams that are going to finish in the top, they get going early, and this is now. But the Royals did have some early success against the Yankees, and they also split 2 with the Red Sox, so it should be a confident team going into this week's games.
And they are the top 2 teams in the American League East. Boston is still hanging out in first place in the East, and the Yankees now just a half game behind them. New York's here for 3, Boston's here for 4. Pitchers beware, because the Yankees lead the league in home runs. That's not really a big surprise, but what is a surprise is who leads the Yankees in home runs.
Well, you look at Mark Teixeira, you think that would be a name. Robinson Cano would be a name, but it's Curtis Granderson. He's off to another great start. He did have a 30 home run year with the Tigers, but he's at 33 right now with the Yankees, and in that ballpark, that number will continue to climb.
And really picking up the slack for New York with Alex Rodriguez, who's on the disabled list because of knee surgery, and we most likely will not see Rodriguez in this series. The last time the Yankees faced a pitcher at Kauffman Stadium they had never seen before, Brian Bullington, remember him? Threw 8 shutout innings to beat New York. It's Felipe Paulino. The Yankees have never seen him, and we'll talk about Paulino when we come back. Students win. Felipe Paulino against the Yankees tonight. With better run support, Frank, he'd have a better record, but he's had a very good ERA since joining the Royals, and this is his best start. This was against the Blue Jays, another East team.
Well, it gives you an idea of what he's capable of when he's on. He's able to make his pitches, and he's able to get deep in the game, but the key to him is always going to be fastball command.
And a look at the lineup that he will face tonight.
Well, Brett Gardner's going to lead this tough lineup off against the Royals tonight, and Derek Jeter just got his 3,000 hit, first Yankee to reach that, and 57 of those 3,000 hits are here at Kauffman Stadium.
A look at the Royals defensively, presented by Ram Trucks.
Well, Royals outfield continue to play very well, and it's beat Cabrera, Francoeur, and Gordon. And now we got 3 rookies on the infield, and Alcides Escobar will be making his 120th start this season. And Salvador Perez will be catching Felipe Paulino tonight.
It's Perez's home debut. The Royals could use some good pitching against New York and some good defense. And even though they lost the series in Chicago, the Royals played excellent defense in 3 games against the White Sox. It's the Royals and the Yankees, and the first pitch is next. High Definition, brought to you by Time Warner Cable. Get no-fee HD with digital TV from Time Warner Cable. Standing just outside the Royals dugout is Joel Goldberg. Hi, Joel.
Hey, Ryan, and down by a beautiful field. When the Royals left here 8 days ago on their last road trip, the field, the turf was actually being pulled up. A couple of days later, 6 o'clock on Tuesday night, up until Wednesday morning at 5:30 a.m., the grounds crew installed new grass here at Kauffman Stadium. It had been trucked in from Colorado, Kentucky bluegrass. First time they've had a new field since the fall of 2008. Got a half an inch of rain today, but absolutely ready to go and looking beautiful. The rest of us, we got those burned out lawns here in this hot Kansas City summer, but here at the K, nothing but a spectacular field. Guys?
All right. Thank you, Joel. The Royals are home for 7 on the beautiful new grass. 3 against the Yankees, 4 against the Red Sox. Beginning with Felipe Paulino, 1-4 since joining the Royals, but a 3.45 ERA. They'll get Brett Gardner, Derek Jeter, and Curtis Granderson in the first inning. And Granderson takes one on the leg. Run support still an issue for Paulino. And in his start on Wednesday at Tampa Bay, he only got 3 runs of support, so that's 7 runs of support in his last 5 starts. The Royals could use some innings tonight, and Paulino has gone less than 6 in only 2 of his last 9 starts. So he's been a horse since joining the Royals. And right away, dealing with a huge distraction over at first base. And Brett Gardner, who has 36 stolen bases. And Derek Jeter, the newest member of the 3,000 hit club, at the plate. And he bunts. Paulino, a very good fielder. No trouble getting Jeter as Gardner moves up to second base. It rained all morning and into the afternoon. The forecast is good from this point forward, but it is a very cool 74 degrees, a refreshing 74 degrees. Game started on time at 7:10, and the time and temp is brought to you by the parking spot. Easy to spot, easy to park. The parking spot at KCI. Last time the Royals were at Kauffman Stadium, the game time temperature was 92.
You know, it was interesting to see Derek Jeter bunt right there. Now, a lot of teams have been trying to bunt on Moustakas at third base, but he's got the ability to hit the ball the other way. So, really surprised to see a bunt for a base hit in that situation.
2 balls and no strikes to Curtis Granderson. Man, what a year. 275. 33 home runs, second in the American League, and he leads the league with 94 RBIs. Two and one. The Yankees already had Brett Gardner and Derek Jeter, so they were able to do what the Tigers wanted to do many times, and that is bat Curtis Granderson in the middle of the order. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, he's got that kind of power, Ryan, and I think that one difference they say he made this year is that he's been able to shorten his swing. The strikeouts are still there at 126, but the ball's in. They say his swing is shorter, and he's making better contact and not missing that pitch when it's down and in.
Popped up a mile high, and Moustakas waiting for it. 2 down in the first inning. So Paulino goes from a hitter with 33 home runs, 94 RBIs, to a hitter with 32 home runs and 87 RBIs, Mark Teixeira.
Well, this Yankee lineup doesn't get easy. It gets harder as it goes.
Paulino misses low, 1 ball and no strikes. Royals expect Teixeira to pull the ball, so the left side is wide open, and Alcides Escobar directly behind the bag at second base. 1-1. Teixeira was quiet at the plate when the Royals were in New York. He had only 3 hits in the 3-game series, and they were all singles. As a Yankee, he's been a slow starter and a fast finisher. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
We're only hitting 248 average-wise, but he's definitely made it pay on the production side. He's been able to drive in some big runs and get big hits, which he usually always does. But he's just been a solid player in the middle of that order.
Still 1-2. Excellent power from both sides of the plate. And earlier this year, He had his 12th major league game with a home run from both sides of the plate. That's a major league record. It had been held, the record, by Eddie Murray and Chili Davis. No swing. Appeal down to Doug Eddings, the third base umpire. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Brett Gardner hit by the first pitch of the game. Derek Jeter bunted it up to second base, and then Curtis Granderson fouled out. Paulino to Teixeira, blocked by Perez. Gardner holds 3-2. Salvador Perez making his home debut after having quite a big league debut in his first game at Tampa Bay. Got his first big league hit, his first big league RBI, first run scored, picked off 2 runners, had a stretch where he had 7 straight putouts. That's a week's worth of work.
What a start.
Still 3-2.
You know, I talked to him before the game. I was kind of curious about a pitch in Tampa that really went over his glove. He just got no glove on it and hit Bill Miller, the umpire, right in the chest. And I said, what happened on that one? He said, well, I was supposed to get a slider, and he threw a fastball. And I said, well, how did the umpire take it? He said, he wasn't very happy. He said, I was going to go out there to the mound and give him a little time. He said, stay back here.
Hard slider, just missed inside, according to Dana DeMuth. So Teixeira comes back from 1-2. 2 runners for the Yankees, thanks to a hit, batter, and a walk. And it doesn't get any easier with Robinson Cano, who is hitting over 300 with 20 home runs, and he has 81 RBIs. The Yankees have 3 of the top 5 RBI hitters in their lineup tonight. That's in the American League rankings.
But the one thing the Yankees going to do to Felipe Paulino is going to try to make it throw strikes. And they take a lot of pitches, and you know they're real deliberate at the plate and don't chase a lot of bad pitches, so the pitch count can go up. So get back to what I say, more actual strikes.
Paulino gets out of it as he retires Cano. The Yankees strand 2 in the first inning. It's A.J. Burnett.
Alex Gordon going to lead things off for the Royals tonight, followed by hot-hitting Melky Cabrera, who was 5 for 13 in the Chicago series, and Eric Hosmer in the number 4 spot.
25th start for A.J. Burnett with a record below 500, 8-9, 4.60 ERA. Home runs have been a troublesome number for him. He has 22 home runs allowed, and he has not won in a while. 0-3 in his last 7 starts with a high ERA. Go back to June 29 against Milwaukee. And for whatever reason, now in his 3rd year with the Yankees, A.J. Burnett has never won in the month of August as a Yankee. 0-8.
Well, A.J. Burnett's a stuff guy. He's got the stuff to be a big winner, but just can't seem to pull it together.
Outside to Alex Gordon, who was just 5 out of 27 on the road trip, and that dropped him down to 298. One ball, one strike. On the ground right side, Cano, a Gold Glover. Everybody on the Yankees infield has won at least one Gold Glove. And we'll take a look at that Yankees defense presented by Ram Trucks.
A very good outfield the Yankees are presenting to the Royals tonight. They got, look at that, 6 assists for each one of those outfielders. And like you said, Ryan, a Gold Glove infield, including Russell Martin behind the plate, who is catching A.J. Burnett tonight.
Derek Jeter has 4 Gold Gloves.
That's a rarity. I think the last infield that I can remember had 4 Gold Glovers were the Orioles back in the early 70s.
Melky Cabrera, deep center field. Didn't do it this time, but in his first game against the Yankees in New York, he homered to center field and jumps all over an A.J. Burnett pitch, but not quite here at Kauffman Stadium as Granderson runs it down. 2 away.
Well, he's been very aggressive, and he's been getting his fastball and not missing right here. He got through this ball really well. He got out there, but started trailing the left center field a little bit and didn't stay on that straight line, and Granderson was able to run it down.
Melky had 2 home runs, a double, 4 runs scored, and 3 RBIs in that series in New York. Billy Butler, just like Alex Gordon, 5 out of 27 on the trip. He did drive in 4 runs in the Chicago series. Billy batting at .284. Oh and 2. A couple of years ago in Burnett's first year with the Yankees, and of course there's always the big question that hangs over a player's head: can he handle the pressure of New York? And Burnett went 13-9. The Yankees won the World Series in '09, but 10-15 last year, and the first Yankees pitcher in 18 years to lose 15 games. And now this year 8-9, and we mentioned he hasn't won since the end of June, so about a month and a half. And recently, Yankees general manager Brian Cashman had to come out and publicly support right-hander A.J. Burnett. Fastball gets Billy Butler, and the Royals are down 1-2-3 in the first. Broadband Network. By Panera Bread Catering. Order online at PaneraKansas.com. And by Chevy. See your Kansas City area Chevy dealers. No score to the second inning. Yankees hitting a hit batter and a walk against Felipe Paulino, but Paulino able to get out of it. Strike one to Nick Swisher. Swisher and Eric Chavez and Jorge Posada. Good curveball, and it's 0-2.
You take a look at this curveball, and this is really a 12-6 on this curveball. You don't see that one very often. Usually kind of goes the other direction, but that was just a straight downhill curveball.
And then he left a fastball out over the plate and a line drive to Melky Cabrera. And Swisher hit a knuckleball. That wasn't the pitch from Paulino, but that was the action after contact. That ball was headed for right center field, and then it took a left turn.
Paulino started, Swisher got this nice curveball in, and there's a fastball that stayed up out over the plate, and Swisher got through it. Cabrera made the right move. He made right move where the line drive should have been, but you can see the ball go back to his right once he gets out there.
It's like a golfer hitting a fade shot.
You see Melky do the knuckleball sign that
it knuckled on it. And what that means is no spin, no top spin, no overspin or backspin.
That's one of those high fastballs that you hit flat. You know, you don't get under and over, just hit it just square, and it goes out there and makes that move on it. Most left-handers, the ball tends to want to go that way anyway, but that one took a serious dive down on Cabrera.
And here's Eric Chavez. Yes, that Eric Chavez, the former A's star third baseman who has been trying to come back from shoulder and back problems for years. And even this year, he had to go on the disabled list with a broken foot. 7 times on the disabled list in his career. And he's certainly one of those guys, Frank, that you wonder. I mean, he had a good career and has had a good career as it is, but what would have been if he was able to stay healthy?
Well, that back, you know, that back really hurt him a lot. And anytime you have back issues and try to hit, it's pretty tough. And he's battled and battled, and he seems to have found a home here with the Yankees right now.
Paulino picks up his first strikeout. One away in the second inning.
Well, Paulino looks sharp right here. I mean, this breaking ball really looks good, and it's getting on top of it. It's going down and getting some strikes and getting swing. And Chavez swung over the top of that one, but just getting that fastball down in the zone to go with it.
And now the veteran Jorge Posada. And when the Royals were in New York in May, in the middle of May, there was some talk about whether Posada would even survive the season with New York. His batting average was very low. He was starting to lose playing time. On Saturday against Tampa Bay in New York, he had a grand slam and 6 RBIs.
Well, that was after being benched for 6 days for a night. It was like 1 for 13, and Joe Girardi, manager, decided to bench him in favor of Chavez in that DH spot. And he took this one a little easier than he took the first demotion. There was a lot of controversy around whether did he take himself out of the lineup. He was in the 9th spot. So never to get the full story on that. But sometimes when you're an older player and you go into a little slump, sometimes things happen, and that had to be a tough thing for Joe Girardi to do.
Three balls and no strikes.
Well, you think it'd be even equally as tough if you are Jorge Posada and you say, okay, they benched me. Okay, I'm gonna try to stay ready. I go in, I get 6 RBI, now I'm the man again. So you go into another little tailbow up, you're back on the bench again. That could be a serious mind game the rest of the season.
Batting at .237, and Paulino lets him get away with a 4-pitch walk. 2 on with 1 out. Tonight is at carsoup.com. Email the booth night. Go to carsoup.com/Royals. Once you're there, CarSoup will ask for your zip code. Fill that in. You'll be sent to a different page where you can submit your question. Now the Yankee catcher Russell Martin. By the way, Joel Goldberg will be joining us in the top of the 6th inning with some of your carsoup.com questions. So 4 base runners for the Yankees in the first 2 innings and only 1 hit. Russell Martin was an all-star this year for the Yankees, 3rd time in his career. At the moment, he is hitting .226. Fooled badly by a hard slider, 1-1. And a curve makes it 1 ball, 2 strikes. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Russell, Nathan, Coltrane, Jensen, Martin. Second strikeout for Paulino.
I really pitched Russell Martin well that time with a curveball and came back with a slider that backed up. Then he comes right back with a fastball up in his zone right by him.
Brett Gardner with 2 on and 2 out, and Felipe Paulino's first pitch of the game hit Gardner on his right leg.
Think he was ready for that? That's probably the last thing you think about, it being the first pitch of the game.
Talking to Alex Gordon about leading off, and he said one of the things he likes about it, especially leading off the game, is pitcher's just going to try and jump ahead. He wants to throw a strike, wants to start the game with a strike, and a lot of times you get a very hittable pitch. Yeah, I don't think a leadoff hitter goes to the plate to begin the game and figure he's going to get one down by his ankle.
Oh, man.
Curveball is in there, and it's 1-1 to Gardner. Gardner was 5 out of 10 against the Royals in the 3-game series in New York in May. There aren't many of the so-called prototypical leadoff hitters in the game like there used to be, but Brett Gardner would be one of them. Good eye, good on base percentage, excellent speed, 47 stolen bases last year. He has 36 this year, which is 2nd in the American League. Very good defensive left fielder. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Last year, as mostly a number 9 hitter for the Yankees, Brett Gardner had a .383 on base percentage. So they've been trying to get him to the top of the order. This is his 42nd game leading off for the Yankees. Derek Jeter has led off more than anybody else. Gardner on the ground, up the middle and into center field. Swisher coming around third. Melky's throw is up the line, and the Yankees take a 1-0 lead.
Well, this inning started with a little bit of luck from Mother Nature, or just the way the ball spins. And you can see the way this ball, Cabrera broke the right way. The ball took a nice little left-right turn on him, and that's how this inning all started. And here's Brett Gardner picking on a breaking ball back through the middle. Then Cabrera comes up and makes a nice throw home. but not in time to get Nick Swisher. Now you see right there, he had to slide across that bat, and that's the responsibility of the next hitter to get up there and get that bat out of the way, because the catcher's not going to move that bat.
Gardner 6 out of 11 against the Royals this year. 2 on for Derek Jeter, who tried to bunt his way on in the first inning, but bunted it too close to the mound, and Paulino threw him out. Up and in for a second straight pitch. 2 balls and no strikes. Derek Jeter, the 28th member of the 3,000 hit club, did that on July 9th with a home run against David Price, and became the 4th youngest player to reach 3,000 hits. And there's a line drive past Escobar. This time it's Posada coming around third, and Yankees take a 2-0 lead. And once again, we go back to that odd line drive off the bat of Swisher. If that ball is caught, which it would have been, without that sharp left turn, the Royals would be out of this inning without any run scored.
I think one thing you look at is the fact that the pitchers were up, and that was a cutter that stayed up out over the plate and was hit back through the middle by Jeter, and Gardner got a breaking ball that was up and hit it back through the middle for a base hit too. And you always got to look at that dreaded walk. The walks always come back to haunt you.
And he's still talking about it.
Well, he's probably thinking the same way we are. If the ball doesn't do that, then they're out of the inning.
And now Paulino is getting into the meat of the Yankees order, and Curtis Granderson, who fouled out to third in the first inning. Fastball over the inside for strike one. 33 home runs for Granderson and 5 in his last 5 games. One and one. Only Jose Bautista, who hit over 50 home runs last year, has more home runs than Granderson in the league. Granderson's career season actually began in earnest here in Kansas City a year ago. He made an adjustment in the Yankees-Royals series in the middle of August last season. He finished strong last year, and that carried over into this season. 2-2.
They always say good hitters around you make you that much better. You give you a better way of thinking, and you get better pitches to hit, and he just become more of a well-rounded player with the Yankees.
Still 2 balls, 2 strikes. One of the real good guys in the game. He's doesn't take very long if you're looking for reasons to pull for Curtis Granderson and dealing with all the pressure of playing in New York. Meanwhile, one of the young players the Yankees traded away, Austin Jackson, was having a Rookie of the Year type season in Detroit. Just missed outside. 3 balls, 2 strikes. For a little guy, as soon as he realizes he's got a big league ball in his hand, I think he's going to be just fine. Runners go on 3 and 2. Granderson walks, and they're loaded up. That was the 30th pitch of the inning for Felipe Paulino, and that's what the Yankees do, just wear down the pitchers with a high pitch count.
I think a lot of that comes from the fact that the Yankees they don't have an easy out in the lineup. There's nobody you can pitch around to get to the next guy. You got to make quality pitches to all 9 guys in the lineup. And I think that's where the pressure on a pitcher comes in.
Bases loaded for Teixeira. That's a good pitch. Teixeira walked his first time up. Hit the wire on the screen and ricochets back into the seats. Yankees have a very balanced offense. They are second in the league in runs. We told you they lead the league in home runs. They are also tied for the league lead in stolen bases with the Royals. So they come at you in many different ways. It's 1-2 on Teixeira. Joe Girardi winning the World Series with the Yankees 2 years ago. The Yankees' 27th world title. Gardner coming to the plate, and he's out. Very close play. And a risky play. And that ends the inning. Wow, with Teixeira up there. I'll tell you what, he can. The Royals come up in the bottom of the second inning, and we'll look at our Spricky Pollitt question for tonight. Which rookie will have the best night? Eric Hosmer, who got his first 2 major league home runs in New York, or Johnny Giavotella, Salvador Perez, and Mike Moustakas, who are facing the Yankees for the first time. Hosmer's first major league home run came against A.J. Burnett. Text 432-432, enter keyword Royals, followed by a space, A, B, C, or D. Don't forget to pay attention to your bounce back text message with instructions on how you can register to win a suite for a game here at Kauffman Stadium for you and 11 guests.
We just have to just listen to this home run here to Eric Hosmer hit in Yankee Stadium.
Hosmer with 2 home runs, his first major league 3-hit game, and his first major league multi-RBI game in that Yankee series. So he wasn't affected by all the bright lights of Yankee Stadium in New York at all. So what do you think, Frank? Who's going to have the best night of the 4 rookies tonight?
Well, I think Salvador Perez is off to a good start so far. I love this right here. When guys go head first, you get hit, you get right in there with him head first, and he does a great job of blocking Brett Gardner off the plate right there. I'm gonna say Salvador Perez tonight.
Joel, how about you?
Well, I'm going to go with Salvador Perez also because that was an incredible start. That big body just can move in so quickly, however he needs to do it. That was an unbelievable play for Salvador. It's his first ever game at Kauffman Stadium, so there should be some pretty good adrenaline going for the young catcher. I'd like to go with Haas because the Yankees' success that he had, but he's actually been struggling a bit lately and needs to pull out of that funk that he has been in. I'll go with big Salvador Perez.
All right. And I am going to go with Mike Moustakas.
That's
So
it?
There you have it.
Good. I like the reasoning.
Yep. You like that argument, Joel? Was that convincing?
It was the best one. Everybody vote for Moose because Ryan has it all laid out there.
I tried to be convincing with the way that I said it.
You were.
Maybe it's the new haircut. That's what you like.
That's what I'm talking about. 0-1 to Jeff Francoeur. That's his first ever base hit against A.J. Burnett in 10 at-bats. And the Royals have their first runner against A.J. Burnett, a one-out single in the second inning.
When you look at location of pitches, you wonder why they get hard, and this is why this pitch gets hit hard. As a fastball up, out over the plate, and Francoeur meets it right back through the middle. Good swing at a poor location by A.J. Burnett.
Now Johnny Giavotella, and this is a thrill for him. He grew up following the Yankees, and his favorite player was Derek Jeter. Jeff Francoeur is gunned down by Russell Martin. It's only the 6th time all year that Francoeur has been caught stealing. 2 outs and nobody on.
Well, it looks like he got a pretty good jump. Burnett has a high leg kick, but he gets it down pretty quick. And with Russell Martin, you got to give him all the credit right here for a great throw down to second base. And Cano puts the tag on Francoeur.
One ball, one strike. Second time the Royals have faced A.J. Burnett. Back on May the 11th, he gave up Eric Hosmer's home run, and that's it. 1 hit in 7 innings. He did walk 5. Burnett in his career against the Royals is 3-3, but a 2.52 ERA. So if you want to talk about the struggles of A.J. Burnett, the Royals don't want to hear it.
They don't want to hear it, and the league average against him is only 243. So he's not giving up a lot. It usually just boils down to maybe a walk or a bad pitch at the wrong time.
Chavez charging in, and the throw is late. Giavotella has an infield single. .46% going with Eric Hosmer, and that might have something to do with how he played against the Yankees in New York. Then Salvador Perez, Mike Moustakas, and Johnny Giavotella. Which rookie will have the best night tonight for the Royals? 4 rookies. So far, Hosmer 0 for 1. Giavotella just picked up the infield single, and now Perez coming to the plate with Moustakas on deck. Perez finished the road trip 4 out of 15. Got his first major league hit on Wednesday. His big league debut against the Rays. Time had been called before Burnett threw over to first base. Giavotella 4 out of 4 in stolen base attempts, and the Royals just finished a series in Chicago where they went 8 for 8 in stolen base attempts. And that's lined to center field, and that'll drop in front of Granderson. So with 2 outs, back-to-back singles for the Royals.
And for a big guy, Salvador Perez has a nice short swing, flat bat. Didn't hit this ball hard, but hit it back through the middle, and he just fell right in front of Granderson in center field. So it's really kind of all about the approach, and the Royals do feel in time he's going to hit for some power.
At the knees for a strike to Mike Moustakas. Let's go back to Joel.
Guys, Johnny Giavotella is at second base and just had a chance to introduce himself to Derek Jeter. That's a big deal because he was a huge Derek Jeter fan as a kid. At 6 or 7 years old, he saw a Derek Jeter jersey at the sporting goods store. His mom bought it for him. That was always his favorite player. We asked him what he would say to Jeter when he got out there, and he said, I don't know. I might be choked up. This is surreal. But then I'll say hi, and it's a pleasure to be on the same field with you. I asked Jeter how many times he's heard that from kids. He said a few. I said more than a few, right? And he said, yeah, but it's better than them growing up hating you. Guys?
Oh, Johnny's experience was a lot different than mine when I met my idol, Frank Robinson. The way I met Frank was being at a shortstop and getting taken out on a double play. And still just out there being Google-eyed, and he said, oh, man, you better get your head together. You want to stay in this game. But you flipped on your head, that'll wake you up pretty quick.
3 balls and 1 strike to Moustakas.
All right, that's one of the things of a young player coming in this league like Johnny Giavotella. You grow up idolizing certain guys, and all of a sudden you see yourself on the same field with them. And as a young player, the number one thing you have to do is convince yourself that you belong at this level with these same guys. And once you get that accomplished, then your career kind of takes on a whole new look to you. But it's a strange feeling when you see a guy, you're standing next to a guy that you've idolized on TV and read about and listened on radio, and all of a sudden he's rubbing shoulders with you. So you got to believe that you belong there with him to get your career going the right way.
Full count with 2 outs. Royals will be running. And Moustakas hits a line drive right to Jeter. So the Royals strand 2. Yankees lead 2-0. Learn more, visit kia.com. Just outside the Royals Hall of Fame, beyond the left field bullpen. Turned out to be a very pleasant evening after rain, and more rain this morning and into the early afternoon. Mark Teixeira almost hit it through Eric Hosmer. 1 pitch, 1 out for Paulino in the 3rd inning.
Well, if you don't get a ball hit at you that hard, you want to be standing stationary when it happens. You don't want to be going left and right.
Slugger's Blue Crew package is now half price. For just $10, your package includes a powder blue batting practice jersey, a Royals cap, 2 Royals game ticket vouchers, and much more. Presented by U.S. Toy. Visit Royals.com/Blue Crew to order your child's Blue Crew package today. Robinson Cano with 2 on, 2 out in the first inning, grounded back to Paulino. Stroke to center. Back goes Melky all the way back, and it's off the padding. Cano's into second base with a double. Boy, does he have a nice, easy swing, but a lot of power behind that nice, easy swing.
You know, sometimes he looks like he's out front, but he's got those hands back, and he pops them right at the last minute. That's a slider right there, and he just does a good job of just getting all over that pitch. Tracy Cabrera gets real close to the wall there. Just that ball, he hit that ball that hard, he was able to get it over his head.
First double for Cano. And it brings up Nick Swisher, who hit a. Now hang with me here on this one, everybody. Nick Swisher hit a line drive into right center field for a base hit to center. A line drive into right center field for a base hit to center field. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. How else would you describe it?
Swisher. That was a key play to the inning. I mean, you won't see many baseballs react like this.
There's your line drive to right center for a base hit to center. And then Brett Gardner got him in with a single. Derek Jeter added an RBI single, and now a smash to Moustakas. He's got it on a hop and throws out Swisher 2 down. And with that play, Mike Moustakas clearly has had the best game tonight of all the Royals rookies.
Very good play to his left. I mean, that's not an easy play with a left-hander hitting the ball slicing back to you like that on 1 hop. Moose has not let his offense affect his defense. But I'm still think we're ahead of you.
Paulino struck out Eric Chavez in the second inning. Royals obviously won't miss Alex Rodriguez, as he is still on the disabled list, having surgery on his knee and in the middle of a minor league rehab assignment. Alex Rodriguez has 45 career home runs against the Royals. Only Jim Thome has more home runs against KC. Fouled away by Chavez. 1 ball, 1 strike. Remember, you can follow every Royals game through Game Connect at FoxSportsKansasCity.com. And as you watch the game on TV, you can join the conversation about the game on Twitter. Track trends and stats at Game Connect at FoxSportsKansasCity.com. One and two. Time that Paulino strikes out Chavez. Yankees are scoreless in the third. Legacy seat tonight. This is Bob Serve from Lincoln, Nebraska. He played for the Yankees in the 1950s before coming to Kansas City to play for the A's. And in 1958, he had 38 home runs for the A's, playing part of the season with his jaw wired shut from an on-field collision. He still holds the record for most homers in a season by a major leaguer playing for a Kansas City team. Bob also served in the Navy during World War II and later coached several college and semi-pro players to the big leagues. So Bob Serve, the Royals, the Yankees, and Fox Sports Kansas City congratulate you on this special honor. One and one to Alcides Escobar. He hit .320 on the road trip with 3 stolen bases, getting his average up above 250, 251 to be exact. Tried to bunt with Chavez deep at third, 1-2. Still 1 ball, 2 strikes. A.J. Burnett retired the side in order in the first inning. And then with 1 out, Jeff Francoeur singled, and then he was caught stealing, which ended up being a big play because Johnny Giavotella and Salvador Perez followed with singles. So 3 singles in the inning for the Royals, but no runs, as Burnett got Mike Moustakas to line out to end the inning. Swisher makes the play in right. 1 away in the Royals half of the third. 34-year-old A.J. Burnett out of North Little Rock, Arkansas, originally out of the Mets organization. 10 years ago, he pitched a no-hitter, pitching for the Marlins against the Padres with a major league record 9 walks. That's the most walks in a no-hitter in history. And that line alone explains the tag that he's always had, effectively wild. Fouled away by Alex. No balls, 2 strikes. He grounded out in the first inning. Burnett has had his share of time on the disabled list in his career 10 times, including having Tommy John surgery in 2003. Alex serves it to left field near the line, and Gardner, a very good defensive left fielder, runs it down. Two away in the third with Melky Cabrera coming to the plate. And we'll look at our league leaders, brought to you by your Kansas City area Toyota dealer. Most improved batting averages this year compared to last year, and only Johnny Peralta's batting average has improved more than Melky Cabrera in the American League. Now the third guy in that list, Adrian Gonzalez, was a player still considered in his prime, but there were many in the baseball world that figured that Melky Cabrera and Johnny Peralta were slowly fading away.
Yeah, that's for sure. And when you watch what Melky's been able to do, and you know, we go back to the game where he twisted his ankle there at first, trying to get back into first base, and he eventually just played himself out of the lineup, but then got back in the lineup. And I think the reason he continued to try to play because he knew he was swinging good and didn't want to be out of the lineup, and he's been able to play through it.
There were times during the Chicago series where it still looked like that ankle was bothering him.
By going to that turf down there in Tampa Bay, they didn't feel too great there either. But when a guy's swinging the bat, he doesn't want to be out of the lineup, and just being able to DH yesterday really helped him a lot.
Melky strikes out, didn't run to first. The Yankees throw him out, and that's the inning. The wideband internet pitch speeds brought to you by Time Warner Cable. Up to 50 megabits per second of pure online power. And good power tonight. Burnett at 95, Paulino at 98. Yankees in the 4th inning have Jorge Posada, Russell Martin, and Brett Gardner. A.J. Burnett, with an interesting hairdo, has 3 scoreless innings, no walks and 2 strikeouts. Posada walked with 1 out in the 2nd inning and scored one of the 2 Yankee runs in that inning. Inning began with that crazy looking line drive off the bat of Nick Swisher, which changed directions on Melky Cabrera and fell for a hit. With 1 out, Posada reached, and then Gardner and Jeter driving in the runs. Posada strikes out. Paulino has 4. Every Wednesday is Ink Student Night and Local Music Showcase at Kauffman Stadium. You'll get a $7 game ticket, pregame happy hour specials, and enjoy one of KC's best bands. And coming up the day after tomorrow, it's music from the Good Foot before the Royals and Yankees wrap up their series at 7:10. Back to Paulino. 2 up, 2 down. Russell Martin is 0 for 2. And that gets us to Brett Gardner, who was hit by Paulino in the 1st inning with the game's first pitch. And then Gardner hit Paulino with an RBI single into center field in the 2nd. Gardner then later in the inning, he was at 3rd base. The Yankees had the bases loaded for Mark Teixeira. And a ball that got away from Salvador Perez. He tried to score from 3rd and was out. And that left Teixeira at home plate. 0-1.
Boy, look at this ball. He's got away from Perez just a little bit. He dives right back in there. And, you know, when you got a guy like Mark Teixeira at the plate, you got to make sure you can get there. Perez does a good job of blocking Gardner off the plate.
Also a dangerous play, too, going in head first like that with his hands. I mean, that's got broken finger, dislocated finger, jammed wrist written all over it.
Well, when you first step in the major league in the professional baseball, they tell you never slide head first in the home plate, but players don't listen.
You ever slide head first in a home plate?
Well, I can't remember. I don't. Not very often if I ever did it. Other bases I did, 2nd base and 3rd base, but I would say not at home plate. The catchers back then loved it when you came hit first in the home plate. That you'd be wearing shin guards.
Might put a knee into you.
They were a little bit on the physical side back in those days.
Routine to left field. And the best inning for Felipe Paulino, a 10-pitch scoreless 4th. The new Ford F-150 you're looking for at thoroughbredford.com. Two nothing Yankees. Royals coming up in the fourth inning. 3 hits, no runs against A.J. Burnett. 3 straight hits coming in the second inning, but a runner caught stealing and a line out also mixed in, helping out Burnett. He struck out Billy Butler with a fastball back in the first inning. Burnett has 2 strikeouts, no walks. One and one. One ball, 2 strikes. Ball going in and out of the Yankees radio booth. John Sterling, Susan Waldman sending the game back to New York. Jeter to the middle. Billy Butler is 0 for 2. Coming up tomorrow, Billy will be at IV, located off of I-29 and 64th Street from 12:30 to 1:30. He'll be signing autographs and distributing free cans of Pepsi Max to the lunch crowd. Pepsi Max and Hy-Vee, proud partners of the Royals and Fox Sports Kansas City. Hosmer with a shot up the middle, past Jeter and into center field. He is 1 for 2.
Jeter's playing toward the middle, and Eric Hosmer takes his fastball right back through the middle, and he had to get a lot of bat on it to get it back past the diving Jeter, but really stayed back, got through it, and drove it back through the middle. Kind of bumps him up there a little bit, you know, on the rookie night. Base hit, line drive caught.
It's not over yet, Frank.
Well, he's not my guy tonight, so I'm not.
Oh, okay.
He'll make us pay for that.
Francoeur singled in the second inning. He had been 0 for 9 against A.J. Burnett. And up the middle again into center field. 2 on, 1 out. Jeff Francoeur is 2 for 2.
I just take a look at this swing here. It's a 2-seamer down and in, and he did a good job just not over swinging and hit this ball right back through the middle. The head went down. It says see the ball hit the bat, and that's what he tried to do right there. Hit the ball back to the middle, stayed over the pitch.
The Royals and Fox Sports Kansas City present our 3rd University Day game with K-State Day at Kauffman Stadium on Sunday. All Wildcats fans are invited to take advantage of special ticket prices and join us for special pregame activities. Go to Royals.com/K-State for more information. Johnny Giavitello with 2 on, 1 out. He had an infield single in the second inning. A little slow roller to the third base side, and Chavez throw to first was late. ground to Chavez. They get the out at second base. Cano to first. Man, what a quick turn. Double play for the Yankees, and that's that for the Royals in the fourth. Couple of runs early in the game. Oftentimes a team is the victim of a bad hop, but it's not very often the team is the victim of a bad slice.
I mean, that's something I haven't seen in a long time. You've seen balls curve when they're high in the air, but on a line drive that turns over like that, that doesn't happen very often. And he's pitched pretty good after that second inning.
Gardner and Derek Jeter, who bats now, have driven in the runs for the Yankees. Derek Jeter went 5 for 5 in the game when he picked up his 3,000th hit. 2 balls and no strikes, becoming the second major leaguer in history to hit a home run for his 3,000th hit. His former teammate for a time, Wade Boggs, was the first. Boggs did it with Tampa Bay. 3 balls and no strikes. And a guy who normally doesn't hit home runs did it with a home run.
A lot of guys will say, well, where do you want to be on a big hit? They say, I'd rather be on second base in the middle of the field, doffing my cap like George Brett did on 390, which was kind of cool. But a home run, that's even better because you can slow trot it all the way around.
Lifted to right. Francoeur was shallow. So Jeter's 3,000 hit was the first major milestone of the year. The second, Jim Thome hit 2 home runs tonight for the Minnesota Twins. So congratulations to him. One of the great ambassadors of the game. 600 in his career. And Minnesota leads at Detroit 9-6.
I wonder which one of them was an absolute bomb.
How about both of them? Another interesting storyline from that game. Delman Young, before the game, was traded from Minnesota to Detroit. And Minnesota is in Detroit, so he just walked over to the other clubhouse. And in his first at-bat against his former team, hit a home run. Homered against Francisco Liriano.
How sweet it is.
Man. Three and 1 to Granderson. He has walked and fouled out to third. Now Granderson walks with 1 out, and Paulino already has 4. One of those walks has turned into a run. Yeah, I've read a couple of stories, and it is interesting, Frank, that the question has come up on several occasions, why isn't anybody making a big deal out of Jim Thome hitting 600 home runs? I mean, when other hitters have come up on milestones, whether it be 500 home runs, 3,000 hits, 600 home runs, the national shows will cut away to that game live, and that's a major milestone, and you hardly ever hear about it.
I'm not sure. I mean, I know the name recognition is there, and that's something that baseball itself has to get behind, especially usually when you get within 5, everybody starts tuning in to every at bat and checking you out. And I agree with you. It's been vastly overlooked.
Could be also that Thome is no longer an everyday player, so it's kind of hard to project when it's going to happen because you don't know when he's going to play.
Well, that's true. That's a good point there.
Fouled away by Teixeira off the tarp.
But, you know, sometimes you have people track these things, and if you see him in the lineup, then you got to, hey, Thome's playing tonight. You know, they've got TV cameras everywhere. .600 home runs. It's hard to believe.
Two and one on Teixeira. Teixeira walked in the first and then was standing at the plate when the Yankees had the bases loaded, 2 outs in the second, but Brett Gardner, trying to race home from third base on a ball that got away from Perez, was tagged out. So Teixeira was standing at the plate when the inning ended and then led off the third with a line out. Three and two.
Oh, real good slider by Polina right there.
Granderson at first with 22 stolen bases. He is running, and that is ball 4. Five walks for Paulino in less than 5 innings. Official 2012 All-Star gear is now available at the Majestic Team Store at Kauffman Stadium. The team store is open throughout the homestand, so come and get your All-Star gear today or tomorrow. So Granderson at second base, Teixeira at first, and with Granderson second in the league in home runs this year, our question is, who was the last Yankee outfielder to lead the league outright in home runs? So I guess I would suggest that there's been a Yankee outfielder recently who is tied for the league lead in home runs. Strike two, Robinson Cano. He has a double and a ground ball back to the mound.
I'm going to go old school.
Okay.
I'm going to say Roger Maris.
That long ago, huh? Of course, Reggie Jackson, Dave Winfield. Cano didn't quite get it. Francoeur getting behind the fly ball, and he'll play it to second base. Granderson advances to third. Good question.
It is.
One of them is in the house that we have talked about tonight. Wow. Frank White, ladies and gentlemen. Ball 1 to Nick Swisher. Now, you didn't hesitate. You didn't run through a few different names. You went right to Roger Maris.
61 home runs. That's outright.
That was a long time ago, though. One ball, one strike on Swisher. Swisher with that single to center field, which began as a line drive into right center. And if that ball is caught, there's really nothing Melky Cabrera could do about it. But if that ball is caught, the Royals eventually get to 3 outs with no runs scoring. Moustakas crossing the line, making the play in foul territory. The Yankees leave 2 on base in the 5th inning. They have stranded 7. Bottom of the 5th inning, and he has turned in our Chevrolet play of the game.
But did a great job blocking the ball in the dirt by Paulino and then hustling back and getting Brett Gardner at the plate. So he goes head first. Gardner goes head first. Salvador Perez wins the battle.
And Perez singled in the 2nd inning. That put runners at 1st and 2nd with 2 outs, and then Mike Moustakas lined out to short. A.J. Burnett with 2 strikeouts in 4 innings. He's allowed 5 hits. No walks. Long run for Swisher. Long run out for Cano. He goes across the line and makes the play. Man, he was a good-looking defensive second baseman. We've known that for a long time. Just turned a nifty double play in the 4th, and now a long run here to begin the 5th.
This is really just feeling really confident right there. Gold Glove winner, knows he's got the ball measured, and just lets it settle right in the glove.
Now, he made that look really easy. That's not easy, right?
He made it look a lot easier than it really is, that's for sure.
I mean, it would be easier to run a little harder and catch it up above your head, right? I mean, that's why he is who he is, but that is a tough play made to look very easy.
Yeah, that's a long way to go, and you got to make sure you're under the ball, too. And then, I mean, just to catch it with the ease that he caught it, it just shows you how confident he was in getting to that pop-up and making a play.
2-0 on Mike Moustakas with a line out and a very good play at third base. So far, he has had the best night of all the rookies. But 34% are going with Salvador Perez. Can't explain it. 3-0. That's not true. Frank and Joel went with Salvador Perez. I went with Mike Moustakas. Okay, 3-1. And now on this 3-1 pitch, he's going to hit one out of sight.
And I hope you're right.
On this 3-2 pitch, he's going to hit one out of sight. Wasn't the pitch he was looking for, Frank?
No, 3-1. If it's not your pitch, you take it. But now you got to expand your zone a little bit on 3 and 2.
Base hit into right field. That's a clincher. 1 on, 1 out. That puts an end to an 0 for 13 for Mike Moustakas. On Friday, the Royals will be playing the Red Sox. That's game 2 of 4, and it's a Friday night fireworks. 7:10 game with Boston. Be sure to stay after the game for another great fireworks show presented by Hy-Vee and Pepsi. One on, 1 out for Alcides Escobar. Riding inside, ball 1. Moustakas runs, and there's a ground ball base hit into right. Swisher was shallow in right field. How often do you see that? A hit and run, base hit into right field, and the runner doesn't go first to third.
Well, yeah, it's very rare that doesn't happen, especially running on the plate. And Moose takes off, he looks in and see the ball's behind him. Alcides does a good job hitting behind him to right field as he should on a hit and run. So we get a better look at it here. And Moose pretty much shut that down on his own.
On one hand, a perfectly executed hit and run. Not the perfect result. 2 on for Alex Gordon. He is grounded out, flied to left on a running play by Brett Gardner to the line. And that's grounded through the right side. Moustakas held at third as Swisher comes up firing and gets it to the plate on the fly. Bases loaded, 1 out.
Changeup. Alex goes down and hit it off the end of the bat, and hits in that good spot between first and second. But Nick Swisher's done an outstanding job of getting in and getting on these baseballs and holding the runs at 90 feet. See how aggressively he comes in. He's right behind second base right there. That's no way that Moustakas can score on that base hit.
So they're loaded up for Melky Cabrera, who is 0 for 2. Off the plate and foul. Melky flied to the warning track in center field in the first, struck out in the third. Royals leader in batting average, tied for the team lead in home runs, and he's the team leader with 70 RBIs. With 1 out, the Royals have 3 consecutive singles. They have out-hit the Yankees 8-4. All 8 of their hits are singles. And he's down, no balls and 2 strikes. He had a very successful homecoming in New York back in May.
He was swinging the bat really well right there. Just a home run to center field on his first swing, and then right center field again. Parents and everybody else They were all excited that weekend. That pitch right there was definitely designed to change the eye level of Cabrera, and I could go back in with something off speed.
And somehow he was able to make contact with that pitch.
I mean, we've seen him hit balls almost on the ground, both him and Jeff Francoeur both. I mean, this is a pitcher's pitch all the way, and you can see how far out front he gets to put this ball in play in foul territory.
It's a pretty good effort when the catcher was fully prepared to block the ball in the dirt. Not even thinking about catching the ball, just trying to get his body in front of it. Bases loaded, 1 out. 2-2. This is a pitcher that Melky's had some trouble with over the years. He played with Burnett in 09. And prior to that, saw him quite a bit when Burnett was with the Blue Jays. He 2 hits and 21 at-bats against Burnett. He has 2 career grand slams. And Burnett almost threw it into Arrowhead Stadium.
Now Russell Martin got to see if his shoulder's out of socket on that one. I mean, that to be able to react to that high fastball that quick, that's some good athletic ability there. I mean, my goodness. Now, that's probably the last place you expect this pitch to go is right there.
So Melky has come back from 0-2 to make it 3-2.
Well, it seems like Burnett's fastball command hasn't been there, but his breaking ball command is.
Off the slider and turns it into a walk and an RBI.
That's a very tough and very good at bat by Melky Cabrera.
Larry Rothschild is the Yankees pitching coach, former manager of the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. So Burnett's first walk tonight comes with the bases loaded, and now the tying run is at third, go-ahead run at second. And the Yankees will try and figure out what to do with Billy Butler. Tonight's copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. Ryan Lefebvre with Frank White, Joel Goldberg, producer Kevin Shank, director Steve Kurtenbach, associate producers Al Broughton, Sam Abramson, and the producer of Royals Live is T.J. McGinnis. So a 1-run game, and now Billy Butler with the bases loaded. He is 0 for 2 so far tonight against Burnett. Set up outside, but missing outside, ball 1. Fouled away, 1 ball, 1 strike. Yankees not wasting any time. They're up in the bullpen with right-hander Corey Wade. The Yankees were rained out at home against Tampa Bay, so their bullpen is fully rested, and Joe Girardi has the luxury of going to his bullpen early tonight if he needs to. Billy with a line drive, base hit into right field. 2 runs are going to score, and the Royals take the lead in the 5th inning.
That's a good piece of hitting right here. This is a changeup going down, and Billy does a good job of staying right with it and hit it just the way it was pitched out over the plate. Stayed right with it, saw the ball hit the plate. I got to say he saw the ball go off the bat on that swing. Just a line drive right back. Mark Teixeira at first base. They got 2 RBI on the swing.
So the Royals in front by 1 with 1st and 3rd one out, and outside to Eric Hosmer. Hosmer grounded out to second base in the 2nd and hit a rocket right past Burnett for a single into center in the 4th. One and one. On one hop to Cano. To Jeter 1 and a double play. The 2nd double play turned by the Yankees. The Royals come up with 3 in the 5th to take the lead.
Filter the hundreds of Bubba Starling emails down to say 1 or 2. The first from Roger Saul in Wayne, Nebraska. Now, do you guys think he wants to sign Bubba or no?
From Nebraska, I would say no.
Never has there been such a mixed response to wanting or not wanting. Roger Saul asks, any word if Bubba Starling has signed yet? We could use him here at the University of Nebraska. Guys, no word on it yet. The deadline is 11 o'clock, as Monty and I have been saying for weeks on Royals Live. Check back with us on August 15th, somewhere between 10:30 and 11 o'clock. What do you think?
If he had signed by now, I think the fireworks would have gone off. Or it would at least be announced up on the scoreboard.
Definitely announced for sure.
One more Bubba question from Austin Schroeder, also in Nebraska. If Bubba doesn't sign, what are the chances the Royals will draft him again in the future? It's probably a one-shot deal, right? Well, go back to that well again.
Unless his pick comes up after his junior year at Nebraska.
Well, and you know for sure he'll sign then.
He also has an agent that's been known to send guys to independent ball.
That is true.
Back in the draft. But it is interesting to note that if the Royals do not sign him, the compensation pick, we show Luke because Luke is a Scott Boras client who did go to independent ball before signing with the Royals. Nice catch by Scott Boras client Mike Moustakas. But if the Royals don't sign him, they would get a pick in the top 10 next year, perhaps as early as number 6. So there's plenty of compensation. We just have to wait now 2 hours and 10 minutes.
Well, they want to sign him. There's no doubt about that. But if the money becomes ridiculous, I think you have to start doing some projecting next year. And you know that depending on where the Royals finish this year, they could have 2 very high picks next year. But the goal right now is to get Bubba Starling in the Royals minor league system. Jorge Posada 1 for 2 with a walk with a 1-out single.
Michael Messerly in Omaha wants to know, I'll throw you a curveball here. Frank, are the Yankees the biggest rival for the Royals? Do players get more amped up to play Boston and New York? And I don't know the answer to that, or if you do, but how about when you were playing?
Well, you always want to beat the best in the East, which is the Red Sox and the Yankees, Joe, but only because of the playoffs with the Yankees, it became a big rivalry. I don't think it's the same now as it was then. I think the fans just love to hate the Yankees because of their payroll more so than anything else. But I think when we were playing really well, it was in our division. I thought it was more the Oakland A's, the White Sox. Those are 2 of the teams that we had big rivals with.
And when you said you wanted to beat the best from the East, there were only 2 divisions back then. There was no Central Division. So rivals in the division and outside the division. Who do you guys think is the Royals' biggest rival now? 1-2 on Russell Martin.
I don't think there's a hatred for anyone like there was when Frank was playing. I think that the rivalry with the Twins is fun, but I don't think it's nasty or anything like that. The rivalry with St. Louis can be pretty heated, but it's only 6 games a year.
Right. Martin in the right field. Posada doesn't run well, but he'll still go first to third. Martin will hold with a single. And there are runners at the corners with 1 out.
This is just good hitting right here. In the middle, and Martin doesn't try to pull it. Goes to right field. The line drive right over Posada's head. At first base, he goes first to third. Francoeur does a good job keeping it out of the corner and keeping Martin at first base with a single.
Tim Collins warming up. This is what the Yankees do. Remember, we talked about how they can really work a pitcher's pitch count. Paulino is at 103 with 1 out in the 6th inning. And Gardner grounds it over Hosmer and into right field. So the Yankees tie it, and Martin goes to third. Francoeur trying to throw behind Gardner at first. Gardner has his 2nd hit and his 2nd RBI tonight.
I mean, this ball, he just sits right on top of this ball, creates some top spin, and goes over Hosmer's head at first base. Francoeur does a good job getting over, but look at this throw back to first base. That's when Francoeur brings it back in. Gardner's getting back in the first. He actually tries to hop over this ball, but the ball actually hit the bag, and then it came up and hit Gardner. I mean, it doesn't hit him. You don't know where that ball's going to go.
Derek Jeter has driven in a run with a single. Also has a sacrifice bunt. Fouled back into the netting. Any other questions, Joel?
Well, this one is not from Brian Pena, but it is a question for the truck from Scott Patterson, Concordia, Missouri. Do the Royals hire a production crew and equipment in each city to get the game on the air?
Yes and no. We travel part of our crew, and then there are other members of the crew, mostly cameramen and women, and videotape operators that are hired in each city, audio technicians, video technicians, but the names that I mention every night, Kevin Shank, Steve Kurtenbach, Al Broughton, Sam Abramson, TJ McGinnis, all travel with us. And depending on where we are, we'll have about 25 to 30 people total on a crew. We wish we could take Morgan Kramer with us, but they won't let us.
We see no moves like that on the road. And we see no one like Phil. We saw a guy actually like Phil a little bit yesterday.
Big Don Miller. He's done some traveling with us over the years.
Oh, yeah.
Jeter drives it into right center field. Francoeur was shallow, and it's up against the screen and right. The Yankees take the lead by 1, now by 2, on Jeter's 2-run triple. Now, when Jeter batted in the 5th, the Royals defense was set up perfectly as Francoeur was shallow. This time, that burned the Royals.
Yeah, it's fastball right, that's a changeup. It stayed in the middle of the plate, and he just really jumped all over this changeup. I mean, he just stayed back. He almost hit it like he knew it was coming, and this ball gets over Francoeur's head. And by the time he gets it back in, 2 runs have scored. You know, Russell Martin, and then you see Brett Gardner with his speed. He comes in easily.
Paulino is out. Yankees lead 5-3, and a Chevy call to the bullpen. Tim Collins on to face Curtis Granderson. They had never seen before. They were shut out in 8 innings by Brian Bullington. And normally a veteran team like the Yankees, they don't like to face guys they've never seen before, but they come up with 5 runs on 8 hits in less than 6 innings against Felipe Paulino. He's still responsible for a runner at third. So it's Tim Collins with left-hand hitting Curtis Granderson coming to the plate. Derek Jeter just hit a 2-run triple to right center field, putting the Yankees in front 5-3. Royals had just taken the lead in the top of the 6th, 3-2. Granderson, in all the things that he has improved this year, near the top of the list is his work against left-hand pitchers. He has 11 home runs against lefties this year. He had 6 home runs against lefties in his first 36 at-bats this season, and that was a career high, 6 home runs. He did that very quickly. Now he has 11 home runs against left-hand pitching, and looking at his career numbers, he's had a bad time before this year against lefties. He didn't like the call as Doug Eddings on appeal ruled that he swung in the last pitch. No balls, 2 strikes. Royals had the infield in halfway with Jeter at third and 1 out. One ball, 2 strikes. Curveball, buckled him.
Well, this is what manager Ned Yost wants to see out of Tim Collins. You bring him out of the bullpen to face a lefty. He gets that left-hander out. Then he moves on to the next hitter.
Through Perez, he plays the bounce perfectly, and Jeter read it. That happened so quickly, Jeter could never really get a jump.
Well, you see right there, you know, Perez never did get down in time to block that ball. It went right through the wickets there. Like he hit right off the corner of the plate and bounced to the right. They never could get a glove on it.
Two 2-0 on Teixeira, who has 2 walks and a line out to first.
Yeah, the base runner on third base, that'll make you nervous. You can't really get that good jump. You got to wait and actually see what develops back there before you commit to the plate.
I don't know the answer to this, but kind of a rhetorical question. Is there a stadium in the major leagues that has less area behind home plate than Kauffman Stadium?
Less area?
I mean, that's not a whole lot of room. I mean, even if it does get away from Perez, I mean, he doesn't have a long way to run to get a ball to the screen or to the signage board behind home plate. There are some ballparks, I mean, it's an automatic run if it gets past the catcher.
Oakland.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yankee Stadium. Fenway Park. Teixeira blasted into left center. Alex coming over from left to make the play. And that's the inning. The Yankees get 3 to regain the lead.
Go to our Sonic Slam inning. Our contestant is Amber Williams from Kansas City, Missouri. If the Royals hit a home run this inning, Amber will win $300. But if the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Amber will win $25,000 from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals.
5 rows in the crown seats, Frank.
On the wings.
Yeah.
Yes.
We were talking last inning about Kauffman Stadium, and when the crown seats opened, there were 3 rows. And then a couple of years ago, because the seats were so popular and there was such high demand, that they added a couple of rows, and that just brought the wall behind home plate closer to home plate. And you can see the distance there. I mean, and again, I don't know the answer to it. I remember Houston, there isn't much room behind the plate in Houston, but I don't know which stadium has the fewest amount of distance between home plate and the backstop. But what we do know is that the people in the first row in the crown seats at the end of the arrow, they are closer to home plate right now than A.J. Burnett is on the mound.
And the catcher's got a pitchback machine, too. Ball goes right back to you.
Cano out into shallow right and makes the catch. He has made some slick plays on double plays, turning a double play in the 4th with some lightning quick hands, and then starting a double play to end the 5th. So, Mr. 8 Gold Gloves, what do you think of Robinson Cano?
I like it. Well, I mean, what I like is he's so confident, you know. I mean, he doesn't look nervous on anything. I mean, he makes everything look like it's supposed to happen, and you can really judge how guys catch pop-ups, how they turn double play feeds. When they need a tough double play, can they speed up to get it done? I mean, that's how you judge. But he never looks nervous or out of place.
You and I were standing behind the batting cage last year when the Yankees were in town talking to Joe Girardi, and Robinson Cano walked by, and our reaction was, who was that? And we realized it was Cano. You know, he plays a position where you're going to see more Johnny Giovitellas than you're going to see Jeff Kent's or Ryan Sandberg's. I mean, it's a smaller position. He is a big man.
He's built very well.
One ball and 2 strikes on Giovitella. As part of our Fox Sports Supports charitable initiative, we are proud to wear these pins during our 2011 MLB on Fox Sports Kansas City season to support Stand Up to Cancer. For more information, visit standuptocancer.org/Fox Sports. Chopped to third and foul. Still 1-2 on Giovitella. 1 for 2 with a single. He grounded into that double play we were first talking about in the 4th inning. Grounded to Chavez, and Cano with his quick hands making the turn and throw over to Teixeira. Boone Logan is now throwing in the Yankee bullpen as the Royals were rallying for 3 in the 6th. And it was right-hander Corey Wade throwing, but Burnett eventually got out of the inning thanks to the second double play. Just a bit outside, Bob Uecker might say. That's that at times effectively wild A.J. Burnett.
That pitch there and the pitch that Russell Martin almost pulled his shoulder out of socket on. Just wild.
Foul off the right field line. Often wondered why a pitcher who maybe has that label, and especially a guy who throws hard and maybe has some goofy mechanics, that just to make the hitter, and maybe a young hitter at times, a little uneasy, why not just throw one up the screen like you just have no idea where it's going? Maybe do that once or twice a game.
That might work.
3 balls and 2 strikes.
I think sometimes Guys who do that, they just kind of lose their release point, and you know, you lose it for 2 or 3 pitches sometimes, even a whole at bat sometimes, and you come back and there it is again. You hold on to the pitch a little bit too long, and that's when it gets way outside. And
shallow right center field, and Swisher putting his hands in front of his eyes. He lost in the lights for a moment. So Giavotella with a good at bat after falling behind in the count, filled out the count and has his second hit.
Well, it didn't drive this ball, but just got enough of it on the end of the bat to float it out there in the left, in the right field. And you know, the one is that's how he wants to hit the ball. He saw it away. He stayed with it. And you see Swisher was having problems with the lights and backed off of it just a little bit, but he's been really challenging those balls in right field tonight.
Giavotella surprisingly fourth when we asked you which rookie will have the best night. 33% going with Salvador Perez. He's 1 for 2. Giavotella 2 out of 3. Moustakas 1 out of 2 with a run scored. Moustakas is the only one of the 4 that has either a run scored or an RBI, and he has a very good play on defense.
2 good plays on defense.
Good point.
I'm gonna help you. I want him to do well. I want him to win this deal tonight. I really do. Because that means he's on his way back.
Mm-hmm. Joel was telling us earlier, this is a big thrill for him tonight, growing up a Derek Jeter fan since he was about 6 years old. When he received his first Derek Jeter jersey. Perez left center. Granderson closes in on it. And there are 2 outs. When Johnny Giavotella was at the plate, this is one of his foul balls. Ball boy giving it to a Royals fan who should be working for the Chamber of Commerce because she hands it off to a young Yankee fan. Only in Kansas City.
Now, how is she feeling right now? I think he's going to give it back.
AJ. With the Yankees leading 5-3, he'll be touring with the musical group A Flock of Seagulls this upcoming offseason. A unique haircut, to say the least. Boone Logan takes over with Johnny Giavotella at first. And 2 down. He'll be facing Mike Moustakas. And Boone Logan, with his delivery, can present a left-hand batter all kinds of problems. You really have to hang in there against him. Giavotella has singled, 2 hits in his first game against the Yankees. Moustakas has had 2 good swings. He lined to short in the second inning. Right at Derek Jeter, otherwise would have driven in a run. And then his single in the 5th put an end to an 0 for 13. Strike to Moustakas, a generous call from the home plate umpire, Dana DeMuth. So a line out to short and a single to right. And Moustakas, along with Escobar and Gordon, scored in the Royals' 3-run 6th. And put the Royals in front briefly, 3-2. Giavotella takes off. The throw to Teixeira. Down to Jeter, and Giavotella tagged out by his boyhood idol. Royals are scoreless in the 6th. Yankees with a 2-run second inning, and then the Royals with 3 in the 5th. Melky Cabrera with a bases loaded walk. Billy Butler with a 2-run single to put the Royals in front by 1. In the 6th inning, however, Derek Jeter, after a run had already scored, hit a 2-run triple, bringing home Russell Martin and Brett Gardner. Jeter has driven in 3 tonight. That put the Yankees in front 5-3, and that's our score as New York comes up in the 7th inning. It'll be Robinson Cano, Nick Swisher, and Eric Chavez. Cano 1 for 3 with a 3rd inning double. He's hit in 7 games in a row. One ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, good curveball by Collins right there. Really got Cano out front.
He went around, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Hey, let's take a look at this curveball here. He's way out front. The ball's in a great area. Then Cano probably thinks he can't come back with another one. Should repeat the same delivery, same place, same results.
Collins came on right after Jeter's 2-run triple. He struck out Granderson and got Teixeira on a fly ball to left field. Tried to put Cano away with some heat. 2-2. he goes the other way. So he made the adjustment on the curveball that stayed up. Cano's second hit tonight.
I think you're right there, Ryan. The biggest difference in those first two curveballs that he threw was location, and this is the one that he left up out over the plate, and Cano's sitting right there waiting on to hit it just the way it was going.
Swisher 1 for 3 with the most, I don't want to say important hit of the night, but the most significant hit of the evening. Led off with a single in the second and what could have been a line drive into right center field, and Melky Cabrera looked like he was going to run it down, but the ball changed direction on Melky and landed for a base hit. Melky makes that catch. Then 3 batters later, the inning is over. But because Swisher reached, it ended up being a 2-run inning for New York. And now 3 balls, no strikes. Swisher with a very good eye. He has the 3rd most walks in the league. And he is one of those players that proves the on base percentage point, because he really adds quite a bit to his game with his on base percentage. He is a .268 hitter, but an on base percentage up over .380. Three and 2.
Well, you think he was looking fastball right there? Fastball, middle down. I don't think I've seen him swing that hard right-handed.
On the ground to third, Moustakas double clutches and gets Swisher. May have been a double play, but if not, Royals would have preferred to get Cano, the lead runner. So he's at second, and Swisher is out number 1.
That Collins gets fastball in there, and Swisher hits over the top of it, and Mike gets himself set to make this throw to second base, but didn't quite get the handle on it. But he did a good job in just redirecting the ball to first base. You can see the ball goes into his glove. He hit down on the hill, rolled up to the top. But you see, if you turn that head too soon, it's kind of hard to make that transition. You got to look it into the glove and then make the throw to second base.
And now Collins gets Eric Chavez. 2 strikeouts and a line out against Felipe Paulino. Yankees scored all 5 of their runs against Paulino. That was in 5 1/3 innings. Good curveball. It's 0-2. A little bit high with the curve, and it's 1-2. Over the last 2 years, when Alex Rodriguez has been on the disabled list, the Yankees have actually played better. Their winning percentage is better, and Chavez is playing at third while Rodriguez is out now. Now he's one of the elite players in the game and a Hall of Famer. He has more than 600 home runs, but it's interesting, every now and then a team, when they lose a star player, they become more of a team because the responsibility spreads out among the other 8 guys in the lineup.
And the one guy that's getting an opportunity to play gets excited about playing. That's his time to get in there and show what he's got. But you're right, it does change the dynamics of the game because guys do feel that importance of like, go back when George was out in the lineup when we played. Then everybody felt like they had to pick up that slack by doing a lot of little things more than anything else. But it does play a big part.
Rodriguez at the moment recovering from right knee surgery. Chopped to first, and a nice big hop for Hosmer. 2 down, and Cano moves up to third base. Final game of this homestand will be on Sunday against the Boston Red Sox at 1:10. It is a family fun day Sunday. Live entertainment, face painters, a caricature artist, and much more in the outfield experience before the Royals take on the Red Sox at 1:10. And now we're going to have a pinch hitter for New York. Jorge Posada, who started at DH. A walk, a single, and 2 runs scored. And now a right-hand batter and Andrew Jones coming to the plate. Posada's a switch hitter, so he had the option of moving over to the right side of the plate. But this year, as a right-hand batter, he's hitting 102. As a left-hand hitter, 272. Two balls and no strikes. Andrew Jones once had 10 consecutive Gold Gloves, playing in center field for the Atlanta Braves. That ended in 2008. And now 3 balls and no strikes.
Yeah, with 2 outs right here, I'm sure that he's going to be looking for something to swing at 3-0. It's nice to have a guy like Andrew Jones come out your bench and that can not only pinch hit but have some power at the same time.
Aaron Crow getting loose in the Royals bullpen and not taking his time. Off the fist, it hit the bag and ends up in center field. First, a bad luck slice for the Royals on Swisher's hit in the second, and now a bad luck bounce off of second base here in the 7th. The Yankees lead 6-3.
There's really not a lot you can do about this. If it bounces and goes straight, Giovatella's got it, but it bounced and went toward the shortstop and just right out of Giovatella's reach. Just straight luck right there. You couldn't have placed it any better.
Martin lifts it to left, and Alex Gordon brings it down to end the inning. But a lucky bounce for the Yankees, and they add to their lead. Johnson's shut-in State Park in Middlebrook. Johnson has been a favorite of State Park for visitors of many years. It is a geological wonder. Many people enjoy its beautiful day use area. Go to visitmo.com to start planning your next Missouri getaway. Boone Logan stays on for the 7th inning. He came on in the 6th and was able to catch Johnny Giavotella stealing, so never faced a batter. He'll get Mike Moustakas to begin this inning. MLB.com's At-Bat 11 app for Android, BlackBerry, and Samsung Galaxy Tab is live baseball. Follow the Royals wherever you are with game day pitch-by-pitch tracking, or Game Die if you're in Australia. Plus, get in-progress box scores and stats, breaking news, and searchable video highlights. At-Bat 11 also includes game day audio to listen to every game live. Text At-Bat to 31826. You never know when a little Australian just jumps right out of your mouth. So Boone Logan with Giavotella at first and 2 outs, getting ready to face Mike Moustakas, but Giavotella taking off for second. Logan through to first. Teixeira down to Jeter to end the inning. Moustakas singled and scored in the 5th, lined out in the 2nd. Look at that, 25%, a late surge for Moustakas. That's an absolutely unhittable pitch. Don't count that against him, folks. Sometimes you just need to tip your helmet to the pitcher. And apparently all Joe Girardi wanted Boone Logan to do was to face Mike Moustakas, even if it took 2 innings to get that done, because he is going to go back to the bullpen and make another pitching change. Alcides Escobar on his way to the plate to face Rafael Soriano, who led the American League with 45 saves last year for the Rays, only 3 blown saves. And his signing created quite a stir in New York during the offseason when general manager Brian Cashman was not prepared to meet the demands of Soriano and his agents. And then, as the story goes, ownership stepped in and they overrided the general manager and they signed Rafael Soriano to set up for Mariano Rivera and possibly someday become the Yankees closer. And Brian Cashman was very forward with his comments, making it very clear that he was not in favor of spending that much money for Rafael Soriano, who has been on the disabled list this year with a bad elbow.
Well, he's got similar pitches to Mariano Rivera. He's got the fastball at 95 miles an hour. He's got the cutter and the slider. And so it wouldn't be surprising that they would be similar in their approach to pitching, making that cutter the primary pitch.
Soriano originally was an outfielder in the Seattle Mariners organization and was about to be released. So they, because of a strong arm, put him on the mound and realized that he had a good feel for pitching right away. Off the plate, Soriano plays it with two hands and then goes sidearm over to Teixeira. And now Alex Gordon 1 for 3 with a single and a run scored in the 5th inning. Soriano's been able to come back and accomplish what he has after having 2 different surgeries on his elbow, including Tommy John surgery. Once ejected here at Kauffman Stadium back in 2003 for hitting Carlos Fablis with a pitch. Now, why would you hit Carlos Fablis with a pitch?
He was easy.
Is there a nicer guy?
He was short and he was easy. I'll hit him if he charges him out. I'll hit him and embarrass him at the same time.
Fablis was ever going to charge him out, he'd probably do it with a big smile on his face.
That was the one thing that the teammates used to tell you, especially the guys that had good size. They say, now you can charge him out if you want to, but you got a chance to get embarrassed twice.
Who was the guy who pitched for Toronto that hit Hal McRae in the head?
I want to say Jim Clancy.
Yeah. Hal was a little fuzzy after getting hit in the head, and as he was charging the mound, he started to come back, get his senses about him, and as he said, the closer I got to the mound, the bigger he got.
The bigger he looked. You know, even the Pine Tar game when George charged McClellan, he said, "I'm so glad somebody grabbed me because he was huge."
3 balls and 2 strikes with Melky Cabrera on deck. Still 3-2. Yankees with 2 in the 2nd inning. Royals with 3 in the 5th to lead for a very short period of time, because in the top of the 6th the Yankees came right back with 3 and then added 1 in the 7th. Derek Jeter has driven in 3 of the Yankees' 6 runs. And Alex will take a walk with 2 outs. Not what Joe Girardi had in mind, and now Melky Cabrera. With 1 out in the 5th inning, the Royals strung together 3 straight singles, but nobody scored. And then Melky came up, fell behind 0-2, worked a walk to force in a run, and then Billy Butler followed with a 2-run single to put the Royals in front 3-2. And Melky hits a slicer up the left field line, and it will hit the wall. 0-1. In the conversations about who is the best defensive left fielder in the American League, and of course we're biased for Alex Gordon because we've been watching him every day, running balls down, throwing runners out, leading the league in outfield assists. But Brett Gardner, also one of the best in the American League. He would have better speed than Alex and a lot more experience in the outfield. And of course, Carl Crawford with The Boston Red Sox will be another candidate for best defensive left fielder in the league. Alex got a pretty good break, and Russell Martin's throw goes in on a bounce, and all Jeter can do is keep it from going into center field.
Well, Alex gets a great jump on Soriano here, and Russell Martin makes a nice throw down there, but Jeter does it what I like to see infielders do when the ball is in the ground. Forget about the base runner, just stop the ball and keep from going to the outfield.
1-2. Mentioned the Royals were 8 out of 8 in stolen base attempts in Chicago, but they began tonight 0 for 2. Jeff Francoeur caught stealing in the second. Johnny Giavitelli in the sixth, which began as a pickoff. And now Alex with a stolen base in the seventh. Melky goes the other way. That is a fair ball and down into the corner. So it's a 2-run game as Melky picks up his second RBI of the night and gets Alex Gordon to the plate.
As you mentioned, Ryan, the Royals have been caught twice, and Alex gets a good jump here. Still second base. It really sets it. This double up by Melky Cabrera down the left field line. That's one thing right there. Gardner gets down in the corner, and Alex scores easily, and Melky jogs right into second base. Easy double.
Milestone double, his 150th, and his team leading 72nd RBI of the year. And now strike from Soriano to Billy Butler. Billy with 2 RBIs tonight and 2 hits and 2 at-bats in the past against Soriano. One and one.
Oh, this is back in the 5th inning. This is a good changeup and a good location by A.J. Burnett, but Billy stays with it, hits it down in the right field corner. Real good piece of hitting, and got 2 RBI on that swing.
Got a pitch up, skies it to center, and Granderson makes the play to end the inning. Royals get a run in the bottom of the 7th, 6-4 New York to the 8th. Royals are down by 2. Panera takes us around the American League. Jim Thome becomes the 8th member of the 600 home run club with 2 home runs in the Tigers tonight. Top 2 teams in the West are in Anaheim. Texas leads 1-0 in the second. Texas now leads the Angels by 4. They've won 3 in a row. Toronto leading at Seattle. The Royals will see the Toronto Blue Jays on their next road trip. Everett Teaford will face the Yankees for the first time. And in a 2-run game, he gets the top of the Yankee order. Felipe Paulino, 5 1/3. Allowed 5 runs, 8 hits. Tim Collins, an inning and 2/3. Allowed 1 run, 2 hits. Brett Gardner, Derek Jeter, Curtis Granderson to face Teaford in the 8th. Gardner already hit by a pitch. In fact, hit by the first pitch of the game. Felipe Paulino going down and in on Gardner and hitting him on his right leg, just above his ankle. And since then, Gardner has 2 RBI singles and a run scored. So he is 7 out of 13 against the Royals this season. Popped up on a 2-0 pitch. Moustakas wants it. 1 away. Same time tomorrow, and Danny Duffy will face the Yankees. Ivan Nova. And Nova in his rookie season is 11-4 for New York. Ivy Royals live at 6:30. The first pitch is at 7:10. Mixture of cheers and boos for Derek Jeter, who has 3 RBIs. Why would you boo Derek Jeter?
He's a winner, huh?
Stays out of trouble in a town where it's very easy to get into trouble.
He's a Yankee.
And he has a 3-hit game.
Change up, stays up. Jeter's able to hit the ball by Moustakas in the left field. Got himself a base hit.
Curtis Granderson 0 for 2 with a couple of walks. 33 home runs. And 11 of those against left-hand pitching. And I told you earlier that his previous career high against lefties was 5 home runs. Jeter takes off, had a great jump, and Perez dropped it. Don't know if he would have gotten Jeter anyway. Jeter's 13th stolen base.
Derek Jeter's still playing the game hard and playing aggressively. He goes the first move from Everett Teaford, and he gets into second base easily. It's one of those situations where Teaford never even looked at first base.
So 3-pitch strikeout. So 2 down. Jeter at second base. Mark Teixeira 0 for 2 with a couple of walks. Curveball is in for a strike.
Eric Teaford throws a slider and a curveball. You see this curveball right here. It just starts outside, comes down the middle. And the most important thing is stay down in the strike zone.
Up the middle and into center field. Jeter will be waved home. Melky Cabrera's throw arrives a little late. Teixeira down to second base, and the Yankees get that run right back.
Well, just like the Raws inning, a stolen base gets things started for the Yankees here. Derek Jeter still second base. Tifa gets the ball down, but Teixeira is able to fight it into center field for a base hit and an RBI.
Teixeira's 88th RBI. And now he's in scoring position with Robinson Cano at the plate, who has 81 RBIs. This is a 3-game series between the two teams, and then New York is going to go to Minnesota, and Alex Rodriguez is supposed to rejoin them there. But already the Yankees have Granderson, Teixeira, and Cano. 94 RBIs, 88 RBIs, 81 RBIs, and they're just going to add Alex Rodriguez to it. One and one.
With the Yankees, you can't get enough pitching, can't get enough offense. They just kind of keep coming.
Well, they've got both. We went over what they've done on offense. Most home runs, tied for the most stolen bases with the Royals in the league, and they have the second best ERA in the league. Two and one. Two balls, two strikes. Last year was a career season for Robinson Cano, and it was an important one for the Yankees. Alex Rodriguez was hurt. Hideki Matsui was with the Angels, and so somebody needed to fill in the middle of the order. And Cano came up with 29 home runs and 109 RBIs. Filling in as the number 4 hitter, and he won a Gold Glove.
He did it all, and you know the thing that you notice about him against left-handed pitching is that he doesn't really give on the fastball. He stays in there and hits the ball where it's pitched. And looking at some of the pitches that he swung at tonight, he thinks a lot at the plate too. You know, Collins put him 2 really good curveballs down and away. Then he looked for another curveball up, and he got him a base hit to left field. So he's a good thinker at the plate along with the pitcher. Anything fastball, left hand out over the plate, then he stays with it, and it allows him to drive the ball the other way.
Three and two. hit well to right field, but right at Francoeur, and that ends the inning. Yankees score in the top of the 8th and back out to a 3-run lead.
In the middle of the 8th. After the game on Boulevard Royals Live, Jeff Montgomery and I break down this game. The season high with the Royals for Felipe Molino in walks and runs. We'll explain why that happened to him tonight. Highlights, reaction, analysis, and the Bubba Starling watch coming up on 1 hour left. We will hang out until that is done or not done. And if we need to tap dance a little bit, Ryan, we'll have you or A.J. Burnett come and sing I Ran by Flock of Seagulls. Great 80s reference. Good song.
Great song. Thank you. David Robertson for the bottom of the 8th. And he's become one of the premier relief pitchers in the American League. A 176 opponent's batting average. A 71 to 26 strikeout to walk ratio. 1.35 ERA. The Royals have Hosmer, Francoeur, and Giavotella in the bottom of the 8th. And Robertson at 92 in for a strike. Hosmer has 1 hit in 3 at-bats. A single to center field, and he's also grounded into a double play. 95 at the knees, 0-2.
Well, that's almost like unfair right there. He throws a 92-mile-an-hour fastball right down on the outside corner. Then he increases it by 3 miles per hour on the next pitch in the same place. It's almost like Eric Hosmer was swinging in slow motion at the 2 pitches.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Two and two.
Back on 6 or 2.
And 3 balls, 2 strikes. So Robertson keeping everything out of the middle of the strike zone on Fox Tracks. 5'11", but man, he has a big arm. And in addition to throwing hard, he has a nice, easy, smooth delivery, and a pitcher that is referred to as being sneaky fast, which means he appears faster than he actually is. Teixeira, who has 4 Gold Gloves, comes up, makes a backhand play, and goes to the bag to get Hosmer. Let's go back to Joel. There we go. Now, this is what I was talking about, Joel. You have to be from our era. And if you're a fan of A Flock of Seagulls, that is Mike Score, who is the lead singer of A Flock of Seagulls. What do you think? Comparable hairdo?
Well, first off, I'm sitting there envisioning that Frank White never listened to Flock of Seagulls.
He had no idea what we were talking about.
Oh, really?
You know Flock of Seagulls?
Can you sing one verse from Iran? No, you can't.
Well, we say I ran someplace.
Close. I ran so far away. Couldn't get away.
I can name a group that you've never heard.
Were they a one-hit wonder from the 80s?
Yeah, was it? But
it doesn't have to be a one-hit wonder.
And is there somebody in the stadium that has a hairdo like the guy in that group?
But they won't have that hairdo.
Right.
How about Dexy's Midnight Runners?
What did he get these names?
One-hit wonders. Two hits for Jeff Francoeur, both singles into center field. And Robertson strikes him out. Martin down to first. And for David Robertson, that's 72 strikeouts in 47 in a third innings. And now Johnny Giavotella, who has a two-hit game. In his first game against the Yankees, Giavotella has had a conversation at second base with Derek Jeter, his favorite player when he was growing up, and when he was caught stealing in the sixth, he was tagged out by Derek Jeter. And Jeter downplaying it when Joel was talking to him before the game, that there's been a few, he said, a few guys that have come up to the big leagues and said they grew up admiring him. I'm sure there have been several.
I would think so, because you're really taking in a lot when you say Derek Jeter. Not only the player, you're talking about the leadership, the consistency. You're talking about the character of the player. So there are a lot of things to like about Derek Jeter as a major league ball player. And he grew up wanting to be a Yankee. That was a lot of guys can say that, but he grew up wanting to be a Yankee, and he grew up wanting to be a leader on the Yankees ball club.
This is a true story, but when he was growing up, he had family on the East Coast, and he would visit during the summers, and that's why he became a Yankee fan. He grew up in Kalamazoo, Michigan, but in his 8th grade yearbook, this is a kid in Michigan, Derek Jeter was most likely to be Yankee shortstop.
Well, that's great. I mean,
so you talk about a dream come true. I mean, that's down to the final detail.
And just to give you an idea of what they think about him, Jose Posada and CC Sabathia commissioned a sculpture of Derek Jeter's 3,000 hit with him doffing his hat to the fans. And I mean, this sculpture, this thing weighed 225 pounds. I mean, it's one of a kind.
And Giavotella with a 3-hit game. So he's at first with 2 outs. With all that he's accomplished, we take another look at Giavotella's base hit, and he now is an infield single, a single to right, and a single to left. With all Jeter's accomplished, he has never won the MVP, but I really thought it was summed up well when Commissioner Bud Selig called him on the phone to congratulate him for his 3,000 hit. He said, "You are the face of this game."
Wow.
So even though he's never won that particular award, if there was a lifetime achievement award for the time that he's been in the major leagues, I think he would win it.
Well, I mean, wanting to be a Yankee and then becoming a Yankee and playing on the biggest stage in the world as far as baseball goes, and taking on the pressure of that daily grind every day, the championships, coming out of spring training every year, having to win. having to deliver the big hits. I mean, I can't think of any guy that's been more consistent over the years under more extreme circumstances than Derek Jeter.
Let me rephrase that. If there was one award for one player since he's come to the big leagues, you know, if there's an MVP for his era, he might be the guy.
I wouldn't vote against it.
2 balls and no strikes. Salvador Perez is 1 for 3 tonight. Really haven't had a chance to see his arm since his major league debut. Part of that is because the league has taken notice after the showcase that he put on in St. Pete. We were joking about, remember, he almost picked off Matt Joyce in the first inning at second base, and if he had, he would have thrown for the cycle and picked off a runner at every base. He got a runner at first, and then late in the game got a runner at third. Giavotella runs, and Russell Martin, who has gunned down 2, make it 3. Giavotella can't believe it. Rung up by Chad Fairchild, and that ends the inning. Twice tonight, but 3 out of 4 in this first game against the Yankees. Everett Teaford back to work in the 9th inning, gave up a run in the 8th. Mark Teixeira driving in Derek Jeter. He'll get Nick Swisher, Eric Chavez, and Andrew Jones in the 9th. Yankees scored 2 in the 2nd and held on to that lead until the Royals came up with 3 in the 5th against A.J. Burnett. Billy Butler with a 2-run single to put the Royals in front, but that lead didn't last very long. The Yankees back in the 6th with 3. Derek Jeter hit a 2-run triple, and now they've added runs in the 7th and the 8th. Beginning of a 7-game road trip for the Yankees. 3 here, 4 in Minnesota, and the Royals are beginning a 7-game homestand. Second hit for Nick Swisher, and he's in standing with his 23rd double of the year.
You take a look at this pitch here, and it's supposed to be on the outer half. It stays middle middle in and Swisher turns on this fastball and gets it down in the corner. Alex does a good job going down and keeping it from getting deep in the corner, but just too deep to keep Swisher from getting to second base.
Royals have Blake Wood warming up behind Teaford. Paulino went 5 1/3, allowed 5. Collins gave up 1 run in an inning and 2/3, and now Everett Teaford. And there's a reason why all the cameras are out on top of the Yankee bullpen as they're getting ready for the bottom of the 9th inning. They are hoping that Corey Wade will come into the game. No. They're hoping that Mariano Rivera is warming up to the right of Corey Wade. Wade will come in if the Yankees can add to their lead. If not, Mariano Rivera. Eric Chavez is 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. Teaford dropping down sidearm, and it's 1-1. One of my memories of Eric Chavez takes me back to Oakland for Zach Greinke's major league debut. And Zach facing his first major league jam. The A's had the bases loaded. Eric Chavez at the plate. He was one of the best left-hand hitters in the league. The count was 3-2. And that's where Zach decided to throw his first big, slow curveball. You talk about guts. Chavez did everything he could to try and stay back on it and hit a little weak ground ball to second base to get out of the inning. And it was like the earth stopped for a moment and everyone just looked at one another and said, "Did you see that?" And for Zach Greinke, that was just the beginning.
That was the beginning, because you're so used to seeing Chavez drive balls in the left center field. He had a lot of power the opposite way.
Very late swing to stay alive at 2-2.
I think the amazing thing about Joaquin's curveball and Zach's curveball is the fact that they can have different speed variations, 2 or 3 miles per hour, and still maintain the tight spin and the accuracy of the curveball.
Still 2-2. Popped up. And Moustakas to the railing, and he just ran out of room. Bruce did everything he could to get his camera out of the way. Not away, Bruce.
Yeah, this is it. He reached about as far as he can reach with the camera right there.
Line foul, still 2-2. It is 10-13, and as we've been telling you, the deadline for signing draft picks is at 11 o'clock Central Time. So stick with us on Boulevard Royals Live, as we will have coverage up until 11 o'clock and even past 11 o'clock. As Chavez strikes out, 1 away in the 9th inning, and all the information on what we hope is the signing of Bubba Starling. Sometimes the deal goes down to the final minute, but it's not official until after 11 o'clock. So you can stick with Fox Sports Kansas City, and you will know before you go to bed tonight whether Bubba Starling signed with the Royals or not. Pitching change It will be Blake Wood with one out in the ninth inning. And the Yankees leading 7-4, and he'll be pitching to Andrew Jones. And this is Blake Wood's 40th appearance, and he becomes the 4th Royals pitcher tonight. Let me clarify the statements about Boulevard Royals Live. If the game ends quickly, we will take our coverage up to and shortly past 11 p.m. tonight. Just want to make sure that if the information isn't passed along right away by the league, we're not going to stay until midnight. But Bill Goldberg and Jeff Montgomery and the crew will take us to at least shortly after 11 p.m. And so if the announcement is made about Bubba Starling at or around or shortly after 11 p.m., we will at least go that far to try and pass along the information to you. Andrew Jones singled off of second base in the 7th inning. Ground ball that hit the bag, deflected away from Johnny Giavotella, and Andrew Jones, as a pinch hitter in that inning, drove in a run. And 2. One ball, 2 strikes. Nick Swisher opened the inning with a double, and then Everett Teaford struck out Chavez. And now Wood on to face Jones and Russell Martin. Two and 2. Strikes. So back-to-back strikeouts. Teaford against Chavez, and now Wood against Jones, and 2 down.
Man, Blake Wood's got a lot of movement on his pitches tonight. This is fastball here that goes right down the middle, but a lot of life to his fastball, a lot of sink. So just being able to control it and locate it the way where he wants to locate it is what he needs to continue to try to do.
Russell Martin 1 for 4. Came around to score after a single in the 6th inning, a 3-run 6th for New York. Russell Martin, not long ago, regarded as one of the most, if not the most, complete catchers in the game. Good behind the plate, Gold Glove caliber behind the plate. Power and speed.
You see the movement on this sinker here. Look, it's just good two-seamer, goes straight down, and Russell Martin pulls off of it and swings over the top.
And a slider down and away, puts him away. So Teaford and Wood combine to strike out the side. A 3-run lead in the bottom of the 9th inning. 30 out of 35 in save opportunities this year. He has allowed at least 1 run in 3 straight games. So the Royals can use that for inspiration as they come up with Salvador Perez, Mike Moustakas, and Alcides Escobar. 33 saves for Mariano Rivera against the Royals. 33 of his 589 career saves. That's the most ever in the American League, and second most to Trevor Hoffman, who finished his career with 601. Salvador Perez singled in the 2nd inning. He's 1 for 3. Royals scored 3 of their 4 runs off of starter A.J. Burnett, and then got a run against Rafael Soriano in the 7th.
When you look at Mariano Rivera, you're looking at 2 pitches. You're looking at a fastball that he will use as a two-seamer at times, but the devastating pitch for Mariano Rivera is the cutter.
And there it is. Just down and away. Grounded to Teixeira, and that leads him to the bag, 1 away.
One thing about Mario Rivera too, Ryan, is when his cutter's working, especially the left-handed hitters, it's up around the hands. He's either jamming a left-hander with it, or he breaks a lot of bats.
So 41-year-old Mariano Rivera facing 22-year-old Mike Moustakas after he just retired 21-year-old Salvador Perez. Moustakas was born in 1988. 2 years after that, Mariano Rivera became a professional pitcher. And the year that Mariano Rivera became a professional pitcher, Salvador Perez was born. Among so many other impressive things about Mariano Rivera's career, he is the first in Major League history to make 1,000 appearances with one team. He did that earlier this year. Just missed. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, nice sequence of pitches there. The first one was a cutter in on Mike Moustakas' hands. Then he tries to backdoor the cutter going away.
Still 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Rivera this year with 30 saves. It is the 15th consecutive season he's had at least 25 saves. That's his record. He has at least 30 saves for 9 straight years, also his major league record. And he's done that 1,000,000 times.
That's what we talked about against left-handers. He throws that cutter right at their hands, and he's either going to jam them or break the bat. And right there, thank God there was a screen behind home plate. You see this cutter go right in on Moustakas' hands, and you see where the ball, how high the ball is up on it, and it just splits right there at the hands. And when he's right there, he's real tough.
Oh man,
that's
like, right off the pine tar. Behind second base, and Jeter just in time to get Moustakas 2 down.
Jeter makes a nice play here. Almost runs by this ball and then loses balance a little bit. Then he gets his footwork back together and makes a nice throw to Teixeira to finish the play off. You can see right here he reaches back a little bit. Then his feet kind of get out of whack a little bit, but he regains them and gets the throw off.
So 2 down to Alcides Escobar. You know, the cutter's been such a great pitch for him for 2 reasons. The first one is the obvious one. I mean, it's just a devastating pitch to try and hit, but it's a contact pitch. And so he's been able to pitch a lot longer because the cutter allowed him to go from a strikeout type of a pitcher to a contact type pitcher, shattering bats along the way. But he's not typically a guy that has a 20 to 25 pitch save inning. I mean, right now he's at 12 pitches, and typically his saves are right around 12 pitches. Here's the cutter. I'm going to break your bat in 92 places, and this inning's going to go by very quickly. That cutter was taken for a strike, and Mariano Rivera has his 31st save this year and his 590th save of his career. And Derek Jeter, who's been his teammate for 17 years, led the way on offense for the Yankees with a 2-run triple and an RBI single. The Royals had the lead 3-2 at the end of 5, but the Yankees end up winning it 7-4. And we'll be back to Kauffman Stadium right after this.